Hey, what's up, everybody? We are back. We are back with another update. The last witness, the first witness, the second witness is the last witness for the day. I want to bring in our special correspondent, Miss Pam Campbell. Pam, what's going on?
Hello, everybody.
So it's been a long day. This witness apparently has been on the stand for a while. E.J. King, correct?
Yeah, what happened was we're sitting in. We come back from lunch. We come in at about 1:30 ish, and we're sitting there, and we're looking around. And then the prosecutor, everybody goes in chambers. Then they come out. Then the prosecutor and defense, and everybody goes in the hallway. Then they go upstairs, and nobody knows what's going on. We sat in the courtroom till 2:30 before anything started. Come to
Okay,
find out.
so I can bring
Mhm.
people in context. You had a lunch, an extended lunch, correct?
Well, I don't know if it was extended because we basically came in on time and we sat in the courtroom for an hour.
Okay, so tell me what happened when EJ got on the stand.
What ended up happening was EJ has when the defense actually called EJ. Now, mind you, EJ was Meg's stylist and was there at Kylie's home on the night of this incident. EJ was called, and the first questions out of the defense mouth was, "Have you ever talked to any investigators?" No. The defense established that they've never contacted him, I guess, to ever take a statement. So today was actually the first day that they have gotten a statement to know what he has to say about what happened that night. And that's why it took so long, because the prosecutor and the defense was up on whatever floor trying to figure out what his testimony
Story.
was going to be.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Well, before we get to the testimony, is that common that a witness you don't know what a witness is going to say before you get on the stand?
If say that again, I'm sorry, it's a bus
I
going
said,
by.
is that common that you won't know if it's your witness? You don't know what his testimony is going to be before you get on the stand. Is that
We
plausible?
don't know if I can't speculate as to whether the defense knew. They subpoenaed him. He was subpoenaed to be here at 1:30.
Okay, so what did he
So
say?
it may have been just the prosecutor, because they never called him, didn't know. That doesn't mean we know the defendant has a investigator that sits with them every single day. So maybe the investigator has gotten some statement from him in the past. We really don't know.
Let, let,
I don't
let's let Pam. Let's get into the testimony.
Okay.
Walk me through the testimony.
So EJ gets on the stand. It start out essentially, um, he almost the defense wants to establish that, I guess, what Meg typically has security. So that was what they were trying to establish. He usually has security. So what does Meg do when Meg doesn't have security? Does she carry any type of belongings as far as weapons or anything in order to protect herself? That's how. So we were all thinking like, oh man, they're gonna say that Meg carries or she always has a gun. So what happened was EJ said, no, I've seen pepper spray, I've seen tasers, and apparently he must have told them on the top floor when they were trying to get information from him that he's seen something in the past that looks like a gun. But I think ultimately it led to it was a taser, but he wasn't sure if he's ever really seen a gun. He's essentially said he packs Meg stuff. So it was a lot of muddiness on whether EJ even knows what's in the bag, what's not in the bag. So that was a lot that was in the beginning. Now, moving forward in the testimony, stuff we heard already about what happened at the house.
So
EJ came.
what did he establish for the defense?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
What did he establish for the defense?
Well, he was trying to. What he was trying to establish was that Meg has weapons in war, and or Kelsey, because EJ really doesn't know what's in the bags, and you've seen certain things in the past. That's what he's trying to do. I don't think that he actually established that, but I think that's what he was trying to do.
So does he pack Kelsey's bags as well because she's his assistant?
No, that's what he said. He does not pack Kelsey's bag at all. He only packs Meg's. But he almost made it seem like he's seen some weapons type of objects. I mean, at the end of the day, it sounded like it was just tasers and not just, but that it was tasers and pepper spray. But if he sees certain things, he just in the past, he didn't say that day. He's stacked clothes on. You know, he just does his job and he doesn't touch anything or move anything in the bags.
Okay, what else? as far as
So he goes forward, and I don't want to, regurgitate everything that happened at the house. We all know they went there. We know Meg called Tori ultimately to come over there. They're on FaceTime. We did establish that I guess what the only thing that I can say that he would have that he kind of was both sides were trying to establish that EJ didn't see Tori with a gun. EJ never seen. Apparently Tori and Meg have a history. It's not just a one night. Some people thought it was a one night stand for the Gayle King situation, but no. Apparently during quarantine they spent a lot of time together. They, being Meg and Tori, spent a lot of time together. So EJ felt safe with Meg being with Tori because he dropped him off a lot over there, or Meg came over to Tori's house. So as far as any type of violence, fear, and all of that, they were establishing that Tori really wasn't a bad person. He wasn't an anger person. There wasn't any fear, as it pertains to Meg and Tori, and that none of her team ever felt that Tori was of some type of a threat. But what was very interesting was towards the end when the prosecutor got back up, there was an establishment that EJ was like, no, I've never seen him with a gun, never heard him talk about a gun, never see him mention a gun. Megan never told him that Tori talks about guns. And then the prosecutor gets up, was like, you never seen the big gun on Tory Lane's chest? That's how the prosecutor kind of, if you're saying that he never even affiliated with guns, but yeah, he has allegedly, I guess he has a big tattoo of a gun on his chest, according to the prosecutor.
okay, so I don't know what relevance is that. But let me ask you a question, because I was in the courtroom when EJ's name came up, and this is what I see my comments. But listen, there's a reason why I ask these questions. The key question for me is EJ wanted, according to what we heard, EJ was telling Megan it was time to go, it was time to go, it was time to go. Did anyone ask prosecutor or defense why was it pertinent for Megan to leave the party? Why did EJ try to encourage her to leave the party? Uh, remember that happened during the listening to the tape recording. Did anyone ask why did EJ implore Megan to leave the party?
Yeah, EJ called Megan to lead the party because Megan's wig was messing up, and he said he knows how Megan is and how she's very specific on how she wants to look. So he first tried to tap her on the shoulder and say, hey, your wig is slipping. And then apparently she goes back in the water, and by the time she comes back, it's almost off. So he basically told her it's time for us to go. Plus she had been drinking a lot, and I guess she made some sly comment to Kylie, and he said he's known Kylie longer than Meg, and he knows how Meg can get. So he wanted them to leave. But the issue was Meg wanted to leave, but she wanted to leave with Tori. But Tori didn't want to leave.
Did EJ have any knowledge of that particular situation and how uh, Megan and Kylie, any type of exchange between Megan and Kylie in relation to Tori being there?
He didn't mention anything about any relation between Tori and Kylie at all. The only thing he mentioned was that Meg said something slick to Kylie because I guess Kelsey made the remark to Kylie of basically, I thought, you kind of lit, you actually, you're a good time, you're fun or whatever. Kylie and Kelsey apparently clicked immediately. And so Meg made a snide remark basically saying, oh, thank God, because I thought you were born or something like that. Whatever she said, EJ felt like he knew Meg enough to know she was trying to be shady. So that was another reason why he just wanted her to get up out of there.
Well, that's what I was trying to establish, because I knew it just couldn't be about a wig. He probably felt that because he knows Kylie long. He probably felt the energy was getting kind of thick or tense. The mood was getting kind of tense. Is that
Yeah.
safe to say?
He said that kind of towards the end, but his main reason was what he told the prosecutor and the defense was it was because her wig was basically jacked up and he felt like it was time to go. So he went up there and packed their belongings. I mean, I think their biggest thing they were the defense was trying to establish is just that they could have been the ones with the gun, being Meg and Kelsey. I think that's what they were trying to get him to say, like what he knows about Meg getting aggressive or getting angry, or of her having weapons when she doesn't have security. That type of stuff is really a lot of his questioning.
So again, the defense is trying to establish that Kelsey was the trigger person. That's what it sounds like. That's what the defense is trying to establish. Am I correct?
That is correct.
What would you? How would you score his testimony today? Does it help or does nothing for the the direction, the way the defense is trying to get this case to go?
I mean, if it were to help anybody, I think it would be the defense, which is probably why they called her. But I didn't see him saying, obviously he wasn't there for the shooting. So everything is kind of speculation. They were using him. For instance, we seen the picture of where the suitcase and the Louis bag was and how it was by the counts in the front console in the car. They got him to acknowledge that he put it in the trunk. So, it looks like these suitcases or whatever were moved. But then, of course, the prosecutor came back and said, but you weren't there when she went back because she realized she left her sandal, which insinuated that, hey, they could have moved the luggage, obviously, because she was looking for her slipper or whatever when they went back the second time.
Did anyone ask did the prosecution ask EJ, was there, did he notice any blood on the suitcase at any time?
Was there what? I'm sorry?
Was there blood on the suitcase?
No, that wasn't asked. He saw the suitcase for the first time, just the picture. Of course, we seen it with blood on it, but that was after the fact. But no, that question wasn't asked.
Did he establish who the suitcase belonged to? And the bag that they was referencing. It was a bag next to a suitcase in the photo that we saw. Did they establish who owned the bag and the suitcase?
No, they just established that those were the bags that they brought in. They being when EJ brought all the stuff into Kylie's house, that was the suitcase and the Louis Vuitton bag that he actually put the clothes in. Because what he said was, of course, Kelsey is the assistant, so he doesn't pack her clothes. But because they were in a room in Kylie's, everybody took the clothes out. They had bathing suits and they were supposed to go someplace else, so they had to change the clothes. So all this stuff was laid out, and he had options for Meg. So when it was time to go, he just packed up everything that was there, which probably included some of Kelsey's stuff, and threw them in the bags and kept it going. But he's not ultimately responsible. She's the assistant.
Does EJ still have a relationship with Megan Thee Stallion? Was that asked?
The question was asked, were they friends, and he said yeah.
Okay.
But I don't, we don't know if that's current. Did anybody ask, are they friends right now as we speak? No, that question was not asked.
So he came to court on a subpoena. Okay.
He came to court on a subpoena. He did. And what's interesting is tomorrow, we thought the lead detective was going to come, but the lead detective is actually, from my understanding, going to be a defense witness along with another officer and then Sean Kelly. They were ordered in the court because they were here today. So they were ordered by the judge to return tomorrow. So according to the judge's estimation, they believe that the testimony is going to wrap up tomorrow. It all depends on, again, the prosecution has a witness that has not showed up, and so they're reserving their right to reopen their proofs because the defense is going to put on pretty much their case tomorrow, and then I guess they're going to wait and see if their witness shows up. So I think we're all assuming who that witness is that didn't show up.
So the timeline would be 3 witnesses, prosecution rests their case, defense put on their case. Correct?
No, the defense has those 3 witnesses. The prosecution's case is done. They're just waiting on one witness.
So they didn't rest
that hasn't showed up. They have not. They have not formally rested their case, but I'm assuming they will because the judge is going to allow them to reopen their proofs if this witness shows up. So the defense is putting on their case pretty much tomorrow because they had those 3 witnesses, including the detective, was being called by the defense.
How do you feel as a defense attorney looking at the process like this, not resting, case still, the prosecution still looking for a witness? I used to see the prosecution rest the case in the morning. Do you think this is irregular in the way the judge is allowing the prosecution to keep their case open without resting as a defense attorney?
I don't think that they're going to keep. That's why I said I believe tomorrow they'll probably formally rest, but they're going to be allowed to reopen their proofs. I've had to have that happen in trial before, where a witness came from a whole nother state and you don't want to hold up the trial. That's the whole point. But their witness, we don't even know if they're going to show up or not. And if they don't show up, then they have to deal with that situation if the witness never shows up.
Okay, so right now the defense, you know, the defense has 3 more witnesses to put on.
That's what they said. The judge made it seem like tomorrow they think they're going to wrap it up, and they told the 3 witnesses that were present today on behalf of the defense that to come back tomorrow at 10:30.
This is
And
interesting.
check this out too, and then I'm gonna let you go. So the prosecution tried to add another charge. They tried to, yes, they did a motion to try to add the charge about the $1 million bribe, but of course the judge denied their motion.
Oh my goodness. What are they doing here now? Oh my God, this is
The
crazy.
judge denied their motion as he should have, because that is prejudicial. That wasn't even probably anything they talked about. As a defense attorney, you need to be able to persuade them that that didn't happen. That is prejudicial. I couldn't believe they even asked. But yes, they did. They did a motion. They did a motion to try to amend the information to conform to the proofs. I said, are they serious? And then they tried to make it seem like they didn't have this. The judge was like, but didn't you know this information already? And they were like, yes, we knew this information, but until we were able to play Kelsey, they came up with some excuse. I think they said because they were able to play Kelsey's video, that basically corroborates the $1 million.
No,
And the court was like, no, because we all know you've already amended it already before this trial, with negligence, reckless, whatever charge that you added on. So you already amended it. So why did you just not amending it again?
Well, they did the interview in September. If they saw any other charges in that interview, that they could have had the charges back in September. I don't know.
That's what the judge said.
How do you read this as a defense attorney? It looks kind of like they're desperate at this point.
They're reaching. They starting to reach now.
I mean, they didn't charge Tory with fighting Kelsey, but they want to charge her with a possible bribe of some sort. But they didn't think about charging him with fighting Kelsey. You see where I'm going with this?
Feels like you throwing things up against the wall to see what sticks.
Absolutely. I appreciate you. I know, you gotta get your eat on. I appreciate that.
Man, I'm starving. Thank you so much.
I'm about to get my eat on too.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Well, hold on. Before you go, I'm gonna see if someone has a question for you. Does anyone have a question for Miss Campbell? Please put a comment in the chat right now. If you have a question, we'll ask 1 or 2 questions.
While I can't see the chat, so you have to.
No, I'm gonna read it.
Okay.
What happened with the juror that we talked about earlier? Did they talk about that?
Yeah, they had all these rumors out here, and I was telling people don't report on that because you don't even know what's up. So what happened is this juror has an appointment on Wednesday and Thursday, a medical appointment at 10 o'clock. And so they're not sure if they would be able to be here until noon. So they were trying to debate if they should just add an alternate because we don't know if the case is going to be done. But I heard so many rumors at lunchtime. I told some people, I said, as an attorney, don't put that out there. When the stuff they were telling me, the reasoning why, I said, don't put that out there. That wouldn't be wise. Just wait for the judge to say what it is. We're going to hear it.
Absolutely. And we're not going to help spread those rumors either. Let's see. Hold on.
That's why I'm not going to repeat it because they were nice and salacious, the one.
I know. I heard a few of them as well. So, I heard a few, but I'm not going to repeat it. Any more questions? That was a good question. We have any more questions? This is why she's here. Because if I hear stomach growling on this interview, we're going to have a problem. Did they say anything about Tory getting in the elevator with the? No, she was asking.
Come on. I don't know about. Is that's what they're saying about that juror? Yeah, no.
Okay, do you still think the negligence charges will stick?
I honestly felt like the prosecution knew that their case was a tad bit weak when they added it because negligence is easier to prove than obviously intent. But to me, I don't think they've shown whose hand the gun has been in at this point, except, Kelsey's audio says that, but she done took back what she said, that she saw him with a gun at all. So And that's what the defense is doing now. They're trying to open up the door to make it look like it can be somebody else. We don't know who it is. We don't know. It could be, we don't know if Quan had a gun. Nobody ever seen him before. That was the first time he drove. Apparently, that people that Meg had seen him and had been seeing Tory all through the pandemic and never seen Quan before. EJ had never seen Quan before. So this is a new person. We don't even know who this cat is.
Guess what? And we ain't seen Quan either. This is like a Swiss cheese type of prosecution at this point. There's too many holes in it, and no pun intended. But they got to bring it home.
And see, that's what I was trying to tell people. People are getting confused, and they're trying to get into the salacious facts on who messed with who and who didn't. I'm like, just sit back and listen to the court case. We'll see how weak it is or how strong it is if we listen to the facts and the evidence. That's all we're doing.
Closing arguments. Do you think it's going to happen on Wednesday?
You said what?
Do you think closing arguments will take place on Wednesday?
Yes, I do believe it's going to take place on Wednesday. Especially if Tory doesn't testify. But we don't know.
How do you feel about this case right now? This is the last question. How do you feel about the outcome of this case? What do you think the outcome will be in this case?
I think,
because they always ask me, and I
almost don't. You know what? Towards the end, now that I know, I want to hear what these three witnesses. Let me reserve my comment. I'm gonna reserve it till tomorrow.
See, I said the same thing. I wasn't trying to put you on the spot. I said the same thing, and you're doing just what I would do, especially since we're reporting on this. Ladies and gentlemen, please show some love to Attorney Pam Campbell, because she is sitting in my seat and she's representing well.
Thank you.
Pam, I appreciate you. We'll talk in a little while, but until then, go get yourself something to eat.
All right. Talk soon. Thank you, everybody.
Guys, what do you think? What do you think about this case? The Stylist came in, and it doesn't seem like it was a lot of smoke there. It doesn't seem like it was a lot of smoke. I don't think it was any smoke. But again, this is the one of the defense witnesses. Yeah, they have about 3 more witnesses to bring on. We'll see. I don't know if this is the fact that they're trying to throw in a bribery charge. Really? You guys are trying to throw in a bribery charge, but you didn't charge him with this alleged assault against Kelsey. But you knew both of these things back in September. So what are we doing here? This is mind-boggling. This is insane. You're throwing 2 charges in at the final hour of the trial, or at least one during the jury selection. I don't know. I'm not feeling comfortable now. See, this is why you got to listen to the evidence and listen to what the lawyers are doing, because positions and thoughts about this case can shift in one witness. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're still covering this trial and to its conclusion. I hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. Make sure you are liking, sharing, leaving comments in the comment section once the stream. If you have a question, leave a comment in the comment section. And if I can answer the question, or if I can get one of the attorneys to answer the question, I will. I suppose I have a special guest coming on, and I'm going to reach out. So I might come back real soon and see if that guest is willing to come on. And that guest was a witness in this trial. If I can get that guest on to talk about some questions that wasn't asked, it'll be a good situation for us. Anyway, guys, make sure you tune back in. I'm Dennis Byrne reporting from a secret location while I have my special correspondent in LA reporting for Hip Hop Inquirer. Thank you. And guys, you know what I have to do. I got to take it out with my favorite beat.